Welcome to the Coaching Closet. I'm your host, Richele. Have you ever put together an outfit that was just right, making you feel amazing from head to toe? It takes thought, planning, and effort to create that perfect look. In life, it's the same. It's like a unique puzzle with individual pieces that we must pay attention to in order for everything to work together. If something is missing, it's like walking out of the house with no pants on. Are you ready to piece together your puzzle of life? Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of the Coaching Closet. Today, I want to talk to you about people and how we view our relationships. No matter who the person is and what kind of relationship we have with them, I want to talk to you about how people are not possessions. I think this is where a lot of people go wrong. And although you may not view a person as something that you own, if you really dig down and see the way that you act sometimes or have treated that relationship, many times it goes in that direction and you don't even realize it. So I started seeing this happen in my life, and I thought back to elementary school where, especially with girls, I don't know about how guys act, but with girls, we used to have like, oh, this is my best friend, and then you're my second best friend, and you're my third best friend. And it would be like a ranking order. If you did something to get out of that rank, you'd go down a rank. And I remember someone occasionally would come up and say, oh, you stole my best friend. So that stealing process would be what got that person out of your first rank and into their first rank. And I know there's just got to be people that resonated with that. Like, it could not have just been my circle of friends. And because I did move around, it happened in more than one area, more than one country. And it was just a crazy thing that we did. So it must be something to do with our tribal ancestry that we do as humans or something. But I just remember doing that, and, we always had to kind of pair up. And then there were our other little groups, our little group that we formed as best friends as girls. So I'm sure that has something to do with like a survival thing back when we were in tribes or something. But, moving forward, being married for so long, you are partnered up with someone and they are your partner, but it's meant to be an equal partnership. It's meant to be a partnership with different responsibilities and that sort of thing. But once you start viewing that other person as a possession or someone that you own and you have the right to dominate over or tell them what to do every second or how to do it, then you're crossing over to ownership. It's kind of like either a parent-child relationship or a master-slave ownership, if you break it down. And so I've seen some quotes, and I saw one the other day that resonated with this topic. And it says that you can love someone or control them, but you can't do both. And I think that I'd be lying if I said I've never tried to control someone or wanted to, tell them how to do something or wish that I could control their actions. If you really dig down deep, maybe you would agree with that too. That, sometimes you just wish you could be like, hey, listen, this is the best way to do it. Just do it this way and everything is going to be great. But in order to love someone fully, unconditionally, we really need to love all parts of them, including the parts that aren't the same as us and that don't even resonate with everything that we're doing, And it's a part of loving ourselves as well. We have to love all parts of ourselves, the parts of ourselves that we don't love as much as other parts, like we wish we could change. So it's about really just loving them and not trying to change everything about them, or maybe even not trying to change anything about them, because we don't own them. We don't want to control them like we do maybe our animal, our pet, when we're training them. That's not what we're doing in a relationship. We're not training that person. I know that that joke comes up, at least it does in the generation ahead of me. With my parents' generation, it's come up and, it's a joke. I think it's tongue in cheek. It's like, okay, well, you've been in training for, 50 years. You're almost trained, and it's like a joke, but it's almost not a joke, like as far as like husbands being trained by the wife or whatever. So I just think it's telling that we do try to do that as humans. And I think it's something that can harm relationships if we're really going overboard with it. So something happened a year and a half ago in my own friendship. And it was like the person actually admitted to me, like, look, I was afraid that you're stealing my friends or you're going to kind of encroach on my territory of friends. And I was like, take them away is what the words were. And I was like, well, you can't take people because they're not possessions. And I remember saying that. It's like, it prompted me to do this episode. It's like, I remembered back to that second, third grade period of time in my life where it's like, you took my best friend. And like, you can't take people because they're not to be taken. They're not possessions. I think a lot of times relationships break apart because fear comes in that, oh, you're going to take what I have, but you can't have people. You can't own people. And, anytime fear is coming into a relationship, that's when it needs to be checked because it's not love. Like, I don't know if you've heard that fear is the opposite of love, but it really is. It is because in the Bible, it says love drives out all fear. So if you're really loving and you're just, have a pure love in your heart and you are really just open to that person and you want the best for them, you're going to share your friends with them. You're not afraid that they're going to take your best friend. Like back in third grade, if I was like, hey, I'm not afraid you're going to take my best friend, I'll share my friends with you. You can be best friends too. It's kind of how it is now with me. I know a lot of people that say, oh, that's my bestie. And I'll say the same. And it's fine with me that everyone can share the love, just there's enough love to go around. That's something that's given by our Creator. It's showered upon us. There's never a shortage of love. Like there's just not. It's not like, oh, we ran out of love in the universe. There's none left. So like you took too much of it. So now you can't have friendship or you can't have love or you can't find a soulmate. I mean, there's a never ending supply of love. So you can just give as much as you want away. So like when there's fear coming in saying like, there's not enough for me, that's not the truth. The truth is there's plenty of love to go around and it's never ending supply. So if you just own that and know that truth, then you won't be afraid that people are going to desert you, that person's going to take that person and they're never going to be there for you. Just get out of that fear mentality and loosen your grip on people. And because when you do tighten your grip on them and try to possess them, that does not feel good to that person. And that's when they're going to be uncomfortable and they're going to go. So that's just my advice for today. I think it's a good point just to say that act out of love always, and you won't be in that fear mentality. You won't think that things are going to be taken away, because if someone wants to go, then they should be free to go. And if you love them in a pure, wholehearted way that's just from the heart, they're going to want to stay. So I hope you enjoyed this message about how people are not possessions and there's more than enough love to go around. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me today on the Coaching Closet. My hope is that with each episode, you will discover, like an amazing puzzle, all of the unique pieces in your life fit together to create the beautiful image of you. If you find this podcast to be helpful and would like to share with others, please do me a quick favor and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. This helps to make the podcast more visible. Thanks again for spending your time with me today. Be sure to visit me at coachingcloset.com for past episodes and gifts to help you find your beauty from the inside out.